time we saw each other was at the Kentucky Derby. Remember that back in April?
Dude, that was a great, I mean, that was a pleasant surprise. We had a lot of fun. Our significant others, I think, got a chance to meet, and we bet on some ponies. That was a great time for us.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not. I don't have a significant other anymore. I'm back. I'm back on the field, man.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. When things happen, life happens, you know. But my only the only real relationship I had that's ever lasted is my relationship with real estate, specifically with apartment investing. That has never let me down. It produces cash flow quarter after quarter. It is always there. I pay zero taxes. And a quick little story. I was at my kid's um college fair last night, and he's a junior in high school, and I'm sitting there and we're going through and they're talking about the different colleges and how much is merit based, how much is financial aid based. And it just dawned on me, holy crap, I pay $0 in taxes. What do you think that means, Terrence?
That means you're paying all the tuition.
No, no. What does it mean, Terrence?
Means
If
you have a lot of extra cash to pay for college.
no, think about it, Terrence. If I show zero income,
Oh, yeah, then you're getting a lot of, then you're getting subsidized.
I might be getting some financial aid.
You're getting some financial aid.
Boom.
That's a big deal when college is 50,000 a semester.
And growing, baby, and growing is a whole lot more expensive. So it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to see how that plays out in about a year. And a lot of those big colleges, right? They want kids from out of state. Fortunately, they want kids that have merit but also have financial needs. So it's going to be interesting to play that game and see how that works with the college admissions office.
So I'm fascinated. This isn't what we were going to talk about. I'm going to go off script a little
Yeah,
bit,
it's okay.
but I'm curious, like with everything you know about money, real estate, and the wealth you've been able to create from real estate, would you not advise your son to come and work for you and just learn the business?
I'm glad you said that. So my children, both of them, they're now 16 and 14, have worked with me each of the last 2 summers for a little bit of time. They've exposed themselves. They know what we do. They understand some of the underwriting process. They dealt with some investors on the phone. And so that's been a big push. My oldest, who's going to be going to college in a couple of years, has told me, I want to do what you do. I want to get into real estate. And it's music to my ears. You never want to lead your kid anywhere, but you also want to make sure that you expose them to all the ideas in life, right? Because our first mentors are our moms and our dads, and my dad worked at Whataburger, which is a fast food chain here in Texas. My mother worked at Levi's and lost her job when that factory closed down and moved to Mexico. So she had to get retooled. But their whole dream, right? Their American dream for them was to own their single family house that they still have today, and to send their kids to school because that's what they knew was the way up in life. Get good grades, get to a good school. And I went there, and my next mentors are who? Your professors. And what are they telling you? Work hard so you can get a good job. Nobody ever in that equation ever said to me, hey, what about investing in multi-million dollar apartment buildings? What about finding ways to produce income? A lot of times people don't get out of financial debt until they marry, right? When they marry, and that's what happened to me when I got married way back when. I had roughly $30,000 in student loan debt. And thankfully, I married a really good woman and she had a good heart. She's like, your debt's my debt. And we knocked all that debt out together. But you need to remember that mentorship is going to guide you where you need to go. What if mom and dad had owned multi-million dollar real estate? Wouldn't I have seen a different part of life than what my university professors who've never done anything except work for the system, who've never held a business ownership, who've never had to make payroll? What if my dad had owned real estate? So with my children now, right? They have the ability now to see what dad does. And their mom now has got into real estate, right? So she has her own small real estate portfolio of single family houses. So my kids are going to be so much further down the map than what I was, right? But why? Because I gave them the map. And that's a great segue for what we're talking about today. Next week, I'm going to hold a mastermind. And in that mastermind, I'm going to share with you my life's lessons on how I found real estate, how I went from middle class to multifamily and then to multifamily millions, all because I paid somebody a little bit of money back in 2007 and they introduced the concept to real estate to me. How did you find real estate, man? How were you? Was your family involved in real estate?
No, you're saying so many things that we could talk for hours about. And I can't wait to talk to you more about it next week at your mastermind. What's interesting to me team. Even the last time we were together, you were talking about getting in Class A and just the mindset shift. And so I'm super excited, to be down there next week. And, anybody that wants to learn about real estate, multifamily, and maybe the transition from single family to multifamily, or how to raise more money, how to manage a team, how to build culture. I mean, you've done it all. And that's one of the things I respect most about you. I'm not just saying this because you're here. I say it to everybody in our organization. Like, you've done every job in the company, right?
Yeah.
I'm to myself, like, you've done the leasing, you've done the property management, you've done the capital raising, you've negotiated with sellers, you've done the underwriting. And I just think, for my personal growth and my company, I don't think there's anyone better to learn from. And so I'm super excited. And I think anybody out there that wants to grow in real estate, understand how to build wealth. I mean, what you've done in the last just 2 years since I've been talking to you is incredible, and so I'm super excited, and I can't wait to pick your brain and learn more. And one of the things you and I were talking about off camera that maybe we can get into, this maybe we're going to dive into next week, is maybe your transition from workforce housing to Class A, and that's really a big pivotal shift in your business right now.
Well, man, thanks a lot. It means a lot coming from you, and just so everybody understands, Terrence he got the big ticket. The big ticket is where you get the proximity of power. So anytime you go to any of these kind of events, whether it's a smaller event or a larger event, you always want to pay for the best ticket you can, because when you're there in the front row, you're going to absorb the information that much better. You're there to make connections. You're there for that presenter to know who you are, and he's going to know who you are because he knows the power players are in the front row. But the other power players know that you must be somebody too. And so next thing you know, you start building your network and you start finding that there could be synergies between you and your fellow VIP guys. Additionally, that ticket that Terrence got comes with, a private dinner with me and my group. So we'll probably be out there drinking it up for a couple, 3 hours, the first night of the event. And he's going to get that exposure time that he wants with everybody there, with the presenter, with everybody else there, and ask the questions. That's why you come here. You come here to learn. This is a business. See, a couple of years ago, it occurred to me that I've been treating my business like a hobby. Back in 2018, I visited with Grant Cardone, and this video is on YouTube. And actually, this video is what started my social media climb. I brought my 2 boys with me, and so he was enthralled, right? As you all know, he's got 2 little girls that are just a little bit younger than mine. And at that time, and listen to this carefully, I had $270 million of real estate. And Grant had about 600, 650. Fast forward 3 years later, I get involved with Grant Cardone in his ecosystem, in his world. And Grant's now at 4 billion. And I was at 400 million. So think about it for a second. I went from 270 million to 400 million in about 3 years. And Grant went from 600 million and change to 4 billion. And it was right there and then that I realized, shit, I've been treating my business like a hobby. And so I started making moves. I started thinking differently. I started paying for private coaching, actually with Grant, so I could understand the mindset of somebody further down the map. And in that 12 months of being in that world with him, what he was able to do is inspire me and give me the right ideas that I've grown my business from 420 million to 675 million as of right now. I grew 60% in 1 year, what took me 11 years to build. And so that's what this opportunity is for you guys. If you're in the beginning, who you're just now getting involved in real estate, or you have about 25 units. I spoke with an attendee about an hour ago who lives in LA, and she wants to come to California. She wants to come to Houston and learn from me. I guarantee you, 12 months from now, she'll be at 250 units. She'll be further along the map, because you have to get around the people that are where you want to be. You have to be around and understand their mindset, how they look at things. And so that's what we're going to do with this deal. A lot of guys don't understand, how do we get started? I try to really structure this in a way to help that new guy that's trying to get involved in real estate, how to get started. But then also for the older guys, for the veterans, making sure, let's double check our thought process here, how we're doing this. Number one, you need to identify your professional team. I'm going to introduce you to 2 speakers, my longtime mortgage broker and my longtime real estate attorney. And they're going to tell you what they do for me, how they work with other new clients, and how to structure that team. You got to have those 2 guys first before you ever do anything. That mortgage broker is key, because he's going to tell you what you can qualify for and what you can't. And then I'm going to help you understand, okay, do I want to be a solo GP or do I want to be a co-GP? one of my feathers in my cap is I've never had a partner. I've always been a solo GP. So in the 675 million, I don't have a co-GP partner. And it's because I got started 3 years earlier where I did have a partner. And my partner tried to cut my throat 3 years into it. Because when the stack changes, when that money stack grows and one stack gets higher than the other, money changes people. And it was there and then that I realized, why did I need him in the beginning? Because I was afraid, because he had a skill set that I didn't have. Why did he need me for the exact same thing? Your goal in any partnership is to learn, is to absorb from the other person what it is that they've learned. That's your goal. And then once you absorb that and learn that, you get out of that partnership. You go do it on your own. Because all they're going to, from that point on, you're holding each other back. At a minimum, you no longer have to cut everything in 50%. But you should get the knowledge you need. If somebody needs to hold your hand in the beginning, that's fine. That's what happened to me. And then you realize, I don't need to have a partnership. I trust myself. I'm going to go forward. I don't have any more fear in me. And that's what helped me grow, because along the way, I could have had somebody who didn't want to grow like that, and it would have held me back. It would have held me back and tired me out. So we're gonna figure out if you need to be a co-GP or a solo GP. Then how do you find deals? You've got to talk to all the brokers. Again, you've got to treat these opportunities to meet people like a business. Everywhere you go, people need to know who you are. You need to be kind of the guy with the personality, the guy that walks into the room, the guy that everybody wants to say hi to. Shake hands and kissing babies is an expression I like to use. Every event you go to, you were there. You sit in the front row. You make sure people see you in the front row. You make sure the presenter sees you in the front row, and you go meet people, because that's where your equity is going to be. That's where your next deal is going to be. That's where you're going to meet somebody that can help you, right? So whenever you see a broker out there, go say hi to them. Tell them who you are. Tell them what you're looking for. And again, I'm going to help you with that script on how to tell a broker, hey, my name's Robert. I live in Houston, Texas. I'm looking for deals that are in the west side of town. I'm looking for deals that were built between 1970 and 1990. I'm looking for deals that are at least 100 units. You've got to know that you got to break down that target box so they know how to help you. Then additionally, you've got to build a social media presence, Terrence, right? I mean, that's what we got to do. Like, you didn't find me because somebody gave you my number. You found me on social media. If people don't know you, they can't help you with your goals. Grant likes to say, if people don't know you, they can't flow you. That is so true. People have to know your story. Do not be afraid to tell them who you are. Like a minute ago, I told you I have $675 million in real estate. Terrence told you how he found me. If you don't get that story told, they don't know who you are. They don't know that they should know you. You're just an everyday guy. And you're like, well, mom says not to talk about myself, and dad says, keep quiet your goals. That's bullshit. Take that advice if you want to end up like mom and dad. Take the advice from the guys that where you want to be. And they say, talk out loud. Tell people who you are. Promote yourself. Otherwise, you're demoting yourself. If your story isn't strong enough for you to want to repeat it, then why should I want to hear it the first time? So important. So moving on to that, go ahead, Terrence, tell me.
Nuances to the conversation, right? Everyone can go up to someone and say, hey, my name's this and this. But I think, one of the keys and one of the things I love about you, and I think you probably have learned, probably from seeing Grant do $4 billion of deals, is, there's nuances to how to motivate brokers to bring you deals, right? Brokers are the ones that hold the power in the current structure of commercial real estate, right? They have the deals, they know the owners, and they're the ones that can
Well, no, Terrence, I'm going to interrupt you there. I was at an event with Grant in Arizona. And again, where am I at? I'm sitting in the front row. He knows who I am. I brought my team with me. He said my name no less than 100 times that weekend because he kept referring, because he kept seeing me. He sees another guy in the room that does real estate. He kept saying, everybody come see Robert, right? That's why you want to be in the front. You want to go where the guys are. You want to let them know I'm a player. I've lost count of how many events I've gone to go listen to GC, right? But on that note, back to the brokers, right? I took a tour today. And I'm there, and it's a broker that's definitely well known in this town, and I think will be one of the even premier guys in the near future because he gets a lot of listings. And I'm like, hey man, how would you like to come speak at my event next Wednesday? Oh man, that'd be great. I would love that. So I'm going to have him there. But what am I also doing? This goes back. I'm also giving him a stage to present himself, to find future people for free. He doesn't have to do anything. He's going to trade his time and his value to show you what you need to know and how you talk to a broker and how to work with a broker. What am I doing? I'm giving you free attention, free education for him. But at the same time, I'm building a bond with him. Oh, that's Robert. I want to help Robert out because he likes me. He's going to like me if I put him on a stage. We're going to create that emotional bond, right? So it's like you've got to use your networking game, man. You got to treat this like this business, like it's a business, not like a hobby. Something I saw Grant do. You know how we all get those emails, Terrence, that says now sold for this much. I've never seen this. Maybe you do this. I don't do this. Grant replied to it. He goes, hey man, congratulations on your sale. That's a nice one there. Hey, I've got about 100 million. I'm looking to put to work. Do you think you can find me something? Have you ever done that?
I've said congratulations, but I've never said go find me something similar. But that's smart.
That is genius. That's genius. Like I'm saying, stop treating this like a hobby. If you're serious about buying deals, buy deals. Something that is little known right now. I'm a 2-time national independent owner of the year because I'm a great operator. I've run every single bit of this company. And for 15 years, I've had my own management company. My company, Rockstar Capital, has won 19 city, state, National Apartment Association awards. I've gotten very good at this. But you know what winning all those awards over that time did? It slowed me down, Terrence, and it wore me down. Dealing with people every day, whether it's the residents or whether it's my own team, has slowed me down from my ultimate goals. You know why Grant is at 4 billion and I'm at 675? Because he doesn't have his property management company slowing him down. He's able to focus every ounce of his day to find deals. And those are the lessons I want to share with you. So I made a decision that I'm going to transition out of property management. Because I'm going to tell you what, after doing it for 15 years, real estate's easy, people are difficult. And I think that if you get a good foundation of running your own deals for a period of time, you should, up to maybe several hundred units, less than 1,000, then now you know how they're run. Now you know what your metrics are. Now nobody can bullshit you on when they say they can't do something. And then you go hire the very best property management company you can, the company that everybody wants to work for, because they're going to get talent that you cannot get at your level at 1,000 units or 2,000 units. They're going to get talent that wants to work at 100,000 units. They're going to get better benefits. My company is now going to get lower expenses on every single category: property insurance, R&M, all those big heavy numbers that bring it down my NOI are going to start to dissipate. And now they're going to increase my NOI. So what am I doing? I'm just increasing my portfolio value, but I've also freed up my time because now I've realized this. See, these are some of the lessons I'm going to teach you on how to get that map for the veteran guys like you. Like, I know you're still running your deals. What if you didn't have to run your deals, man? What if you can really find somebody that you trust, that thinks like an independent owner, that's watching every dollar, but now you freed up your time to go find deals. And not just find deals, you've hired an underwriter to help you find deals. And when you find those deals, you have somebody to help you raise the equity on the phone. See, these are things that nobody taught me. I had to watch these things. I had to learn these things. These are some of the things that you're going to learn at my event. So it's not just for the newbie, it's for the veteran guy, the guy that's been doing it the same way, because we all get taught the same way, and you get blinders like this, like you're a horse, and you can never see to the left or the right, right? You're just running around the track over and over again, because that's how they showed you. You don't think about what else is out there in life. And so those are some of the things that we're going to go into it. And then once you find those deals, we're going to help you underwrite it using some of the tips and tricks, understanding that the magic formula is everything. The biggest reason that I'm walking away from property management is that my job is to grow the equity of the investors. I can do that if I focus on the NOI, focus on the magic of the formula. I'm not worried about somebody not showing up for work. I'm not showing about somebody giving up their 2 weeks notice or somebody, whatever the situation is. I'm worried about how do I grow the NOI? You know what? That's a great spot. That green area is a great spot for a dog park. And we're going to get everybody to pay $20 pet rent. Every time that dog park's there, I'm going to go count dogs. Because they're not worth $20. Applying the magic formula, Fido's worth $5,000. So I want as many dogs as I can because every time a dog moves in, I got $5,000 coming in. But I can't be thinking like that. I can't be thinking straight through the clouds if I have to worry about other stuff that doesn't really make me money anymore. So those are some of the things, Terrence. Have you thought about getting away from property management?
I think just talking to you, I mean, the last time I was with you, you talked about Class A, and I've literally been thinking about Class A and looking at Class A deals for the first time. I do think, right now is a great opportunity. This is why I'm so excited to come down. Is there's so much opportunity in the market right now, right? A lot of institutional buyers have stopped buying, and so maybe the first time to be able to get into Class A deals in great locations at a lower basis is right now, because a lot of the big institutional capital is dried up. So, the last time I was with you, we talked about that. It really left a mark with me. And, one of the things I'm excited about is learning more about property management, like why you let it go, what are the advantages, how can I apply some of those same principles and systems, to Bearco. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's like you said, the hardest parts of the business, construction, property management, all deal with people, and it's blue collar jobs, and it's very, very difficult to manage. Now, we know how to grow NOI, we know how to, force appreciation really well, and it's something that I've just known and I'm comfortable with. But I do think the next evolution is how do you scale, and that's why I'm coming down there. I want to figure out how to scale. I want to figure out how to get to 600 million, a billion, 2 billion, and I think clearly the things you're talking about is part of that, solution. And that's what I want to learn. Because it's just when you're comfortable with something, you're just used to it, right? So you think that's the right way. But like what you're saying, there's other ways, and that's what I want to learn from. I want to learn from you and some of the other top guys there, how they're doing it, and what I can take away from that to apply to our business.
The biggest thing on that that I've been learning from Class A as well is that when you're buying a workforce housing deal, you always got to be thinking about who's going to buy that from me when I'm done in 5-7 years, because this deal is now older. And so those pipes are that much older. You're that much closer to the day a big pipe break's going to happen. You're that much closer to the day that you're going to need to do a monster rehab. When you're buying a Class A deal, you know who's going to buy your deals. Another Class A guy, right? If there's 20 offers for that deal, that's the one you want, because that's 20 potential sellers or potential buyers later on. And as you're making your improvements, Terrence, you're doing them at a 5 cap or whatever it is on workforce housing. The same improvements on a Class A deal at a 4 cap, you just increased the amount of yield you would potentially get by 25%. You will have more desirable, attractive deals that investors will want to follow and that potential buyers will want to have. They don't want a 1960s, 70s deal. That's a completely different buyer than the guy that's buying a 2010 to 2020 deal. And they're going to pay more for it. Why are they always paying more? Because the stability of the tenant base. There's inflation coming. There's recessionary coming. I lived through the recession of 08. I can remember running workforce housing and how difficult it was. Knocking on doors every day. The closest we've come to it was COVID, when I'm knocking on doors. 2020, it reminded me just like the recession. And my Class A properties, Terrence, less than 1% delinquency. The guys that only buy Class A like Grant, they didn't have the same struggles that I went through. They kept buying deals. I was at an event and Grant was like, "Hey, tell me about that ice storm you went through." Oh my God. And he's just like this. "Hey, tell me more." And we're talking about broken pipes, no power, displaced residents. And he's like, "Hey, tell me more. And he get me going for 5 minutes. I thought he was kind of pick my brain, right? I thought he was trying to highlight me. And then, no, he used me in the butt of his joke. He said, "You know what I did last week? I went prospecting and I found a $100 million deal." And the light just went off. Oh my goodness. What if I could have not done that? What if I could have been in Denver looking for a Class A deal down the street from you instead of monkey dicking around with stuff I don't need to be doing? See, these are the kind of things. I'm where you're gonna be, Terrence, and anybody else that's in the game or just getting started. I'm your next level. I'm gonna share with you those things that I've learned. I'm gonna share with you my mistakes. I'm gonna share with you the things that did work, to help you get there. And I'm going to pass that down to you because that's what you do. You pay for education. For anybody listening, before you invest in anything, you need to invest in yourself. I've probably spent $500,000 in the last 18 months to different outlets that educate me. And at the same time, my portfolio went from 420 to 675. Was that a fair trade? Was that a fair investment? I think it was. You know, it's an amazing trade. So again, in our mastermind, we're going to go through those kind of stories. And these are the stories you want to ask questions. Q&A is the most important part of any mastermind because other people that are from different walks of life, they're all going through the same thing. Pay attention to all the stories. Pay attention to all the answers and understand how it can apply to you. I can't get enough of listening to like Grant talk because it's a billionaire talking and I'm constantly learning. I'm listening. I want to understand. I'm reading between the lines. That's how I got that story where I'm screwing around with an ice storm and he's out buying deals in Denver. I should have been. I want to do that, right? So now I put myself in a position. These are lessons I'm going to share with you. Then we're going to go into how you create your business plan. Maybe you can help me with that, Terrence. What are some things that you look for? How do you implement your business plan? How do you execute that plan? How do you create that pro forma? Then we're going to show you how to raise equity. And I'm going to tell you about equity. Equity is the easiest piece. People think it's, I don't know where to get equity. I don't know where. If you find the right deal, the equity will come, as will the debt. If you find a slam dunk deal and you present it to me or you present it to Terrence, I'm like, oh my God, I want to do that deal. I'm going to find the equity to do the deal. The equity is going to come real quick because it's a screamer of a deal. The debt guys want to do that deal. You should have 10 guys wanting to do that deal. Finding deal flow is the hardest piece, not the equity and not the debt. You bring Terrence a deal and you're like, well, I don't have any money to put into the deal. That's okay. We'll work out sweat equity on this. I'll give you a finder's fee. We'll give you a Class B share equal to that founder's fee because you found me something. And that's what networking is that if you're in Denver or somebody else is in Florida, I'm not there. I'm not in North Carolina, but you might be there. See, this is the power of networking and connection is that we can share data. You might find me a deal. Send it to me. If I underwrite this, I think, wow, this is an amazing deal. Where'd you find this? Well, of course you're going to find something because I only have so many hours during the day. I only have so many people on my team. We're only looking at a specific area. But I would love to go to the Carolinas, especially Charleston or Savannah in Georgia. I would love to buy a deal like that. We'll work out a deal. See, that's all. Finding the equity is easy. Find the deal. The deal is the most important piece. And in that, then we'll talk about acquisitions and we'll talk about how to operate the deal so you get the most volume. So how you can get to that refinance point or to that sell point in that 3 to 5 year window.
I mean, look, just being able to spend time with you, your team, seeing how you guys are doing things, and I totally agree. A lot of people get scared with the equity. The equity is always followed execution, success, and the things you're talking about. And so I think the way to raise capital is be around other people that are raising capital. Do deals, be around other people doing deals. And I think it's pretty amazing. I can't wait to be out there for you and see what you guys are doing. And so what's the best way for people, what's the best way for people to come join us then?
Absolutely. So I want you guys to give us a call at 832-942-1196. And I want you to come to this mastermind. And if for some reason you cannot come, still call that number. Let's work out a one-on-one call. Let me help you get started. Sometimes, it's people can't get away for 2 full days. You may be just a phone call away from a whole different life. You may not know that you need this, but I'm going to tell you something that I've learned in my 15 years. The enemy of great is good. You think you have a good life, but if you make that one connection, you make that one call, somebody whispers the right thing in your ear, you wind up married. You wind up in a whole new world. You wind up in a situation where you never dreamt of. Everybody's literally one decision away from a completely new life, from a great life. Let me help you find that great life. We'll see you next Tuesday, next Wednesday, September 20th and 21st. Sit there, get the VIP ticket, come have dinner with me and Terrence, sit in the front row, get your questions asked. I'm going to know you are. I'm going to know you're a player. I'm going to want to invest in you. I'm going to be calling on your name and seeing who you are, and you're going to get to build that bridge with me. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Terrence, I can't wait to see you. We're going to have a good time. Every time I get together with you, we have a great time. Kentucky was no exception. So I'm ready to figure this out, how we can work together in the future, how we can do some business. I appreciate your support. I can't wait to spend time with you and your teammate next week, and we're going to have a fantastic time.
Hey, thanks for that. Can't wait to see you. Get the whiskey ready for me.
I'll have my cameras only, babe.
I'll see ya. Sounds good. Thanks, Robert.
Bye-bye.
Can't wait.
That's good.